G'day folks, here's my November collection update. G'day folks, Jeff here, welcome back to the channel. This is a November collection update, so everything that arrived in November. It's now December, it's certainly warming up in Australia. I think it's about 31 outside at the moment, so not the most pleasant. I'm not a big fan of the heat, I gotta say. So yeah, thankfully only got a week more of work and then I'm off for about 2 or 3 weeks. Very looking forward to doing bugger all, except listening to a lot of music. So yeah, there's plenty of new music come, although this month wasn't quite as hefty as my usual ridiculous over-the-top months. If it wasn't for Extremely Rotten Productions, their package arriving like on the last day of the month, this would have been a pretty short one. So, but anyway, let's get into it. All right, first up is a couple I got from Profound Law. I like to order direct from them because they're usually pretty cheap, really, and they come quickly. So, yeah, this is Evoken with their Mendacium album. Brand spanking. This is New Jersey. Well, Death Doom / Funeral Doom. I don't know. They kind of fall in the same bucket as Disembowelment of not quite Funeral Doom, but very funeral sounding Death Doom. So somewhere in that vicinity, which I like. I love this band. As soon as I saw this was coming out, I was like, oh yeah, I'll be buying that. And of course, I bought the CD as well, for some stupid reason. So, but yeah, fancy record, nice gatefold, all the good stuff. Although it's just not the most exciting bit of gatefold, but oh well, what the hell. So yeah, this is Doom. Let's just put it that way. This doesn't seem quite as gloomy as their Atra Moore's album, which is probably my favourite of theirs. Well, actually, that and Quietus, I think. So, but yeah, the sound on this is amazing. This is done by, I think it's co-produced by the band and also Bumblefoot or Ron Thal, who, yeah, was like the guitarist in Guns N' Roses for a while and a batch of other bands. But I didn't even realise he did about 3 other albums of Evokens as well. So I'm guessing maybe they went to school with him or something. I don't know, maybe they just like his work. So yeah, he goes back to, I think, Embrace the Emptiness. And this album was sort of advertised a bit as a bit of a return to the old school, like Embrace the Emptiness sort of period, but I don't really hear it that much. I don't think they've changed that much dramatically over the years. Really, it's all sounds like Evoken to me. I mean, this is a band that I discovered because I got like a burned CD that had one of their songs on it that I don't think it was labelled, and I was like, what the hell is this? Sounds like a missing Disembowelment song I've never heard, and it was a song off Quietus, and yeah, that's probably why that's my favourite album, because yeah, they like the Disembowelment style, that's for sure. But yeah, this friggin' rules. Very, very happy with this one. It's got a couple of sort of instrumentally bits, but most of it's just, like 9-minute Death Doom songs of extreme heaviness, as well as quite a lot of moments of light, if you know what I mean. I actually really like the piano work. I think it's on Prime. Maybe it's not that song, but one of the songs actually reminds me of Devil Doll of all bands for some reason. So, but yeah, it's like epic solos on this. I mean, it's Death Doom, so it's heavy as hell. It's very deep sound, but perfect crystal clear production as well. Nice thunderous sort of drums, and yeah, I think its first song, Matins, has like really epic solo in it as well. So it all around goes very nicely. One thing they've added on, I think it is on Prime, is a Quattro, I think it's called. It's a Middle Eastern sounding or Mediterranean sounding guitar of some variety, sort of balalaika-ish maybe, I don't know. But and yeah, I think that's done by Ron himself, maybe. Where's the details? Pretty sure he plays it. Yep. And I assume it's on Compline, the last song as well, but it's not listed, but that's what it sounds like. So it just gives it a nice Mediterranean feel. Actually reminds me of Dead Can Dance a bit, which is not a bad thing by any means. I love that band. So yeah, I've had this now, for a month or whatever, but I don't think this is one of the few bands that I decide, no, I'm not going to download it. I'm going to wait until the record gets here and listen to the full proper version. And I was glad I did, but thus I don't know it quite as well as I should. But yeah, I do know this one. This is going to be in my top 20 albums of the year without a doubt. Very, very big fan of this. And as I said, they really do the dark and light well. The one thing that I'll complain about, because, yeah, it's YouTube, you got to complain about something. I don't like it when they go fast. It doesn't really make sense, and they've been doing it since, well, maybe like, I think Antithesis of Light or whatever that one's called. Around that era, they sort of chuck some blast beats in, disembowelment sort of style, and it never quite works for me, to tell the truth. I mean, I like blast beats, obviously. There's plenty of them around, but for these guys, I don't think they really need it. I think what sounds better, and I think the second song, Lords, maybe they do it a bit smoother. It just sounds a bit jarring at times, but occasionally they do like a speed up, but not to like blasting level, just a mid-pace sort of pace. And I think that works a lot better. These guys are the sort of band that should get to like Coffin's level speed, not disembowelment level speed. So yeah, that's it. That's the only thing I whinge about, and it's not that often really, to tell the truth. So, and I actually really like the concept of this as well. It comes with this this is the inner sort of bit. It's a letter, and it's a letter written to the Pope. I'm assuming it's fictional. I don't really know. I don't really know my Catholic history particularly. It's a letter written to the Pope about a monk, Brother Michael, who's just been found dead, impaled on his own hands in praying sort of thing. And it's another brother passing on all his rather heretical writings that Brother Michael was writing to the Pope, saying, "Oh, yeah, pray for him, and yeah, maybe stash this stuff away." So yeah, it's a kind of cool concept. There's so many bands these days. Honestly, I don't bother reading the lyrics, but these ones were really good. So, but yeah, this album, if you like any slow death metal or anything heavy, definitely check out Evoken. They're an amazing band. I'll tell you what, Profound Law's pretty bloody impressive label. They put out some damn fine stuff. Maybe I should do a top 20 albums of Profound Law sometime. But yeah, they also provided this one, which is kind of the different end of the Death Doom scale for me. This is Innumerable Forms with their Pain Effulgence, whatever that means. Brand spanking album. Well, actually, not brand spanking. I thought I ordered this when it came out. I'm quite certain maybe I just got halfway through the process and had to do something, or my card didn't work or some bollocks, but there's no way I didn't order this straight away. But I've scoured through all my emails and everything and never found it, so I bought it because, yeah, this one is an absolute belter. And yeah, yet another spoiler, this is going in the top 20 albums for sure. I've been listening to this a ton, so I did download this one on the sly before it came out because I could not resist. And yeah, this is friggin' awesome. This is exactly the sort of music I like. So this is, instead of the nice, with piano and keyboards, and, well, not that Evoken's nice per se, but they've got a lot of mellow but still heavy moments. These guys just have heavy moments. This is muscular death doom, I like to call it, because it's just powerful in your face sort of stuff. There's no, and Justin, the main guy of this band, his other band, Dream Unending, it's a bit frilly for my liking. Let's just put it that way. This is not. It's just tough riffs. So yeah, muscular doom. There's plenty of Finnish and Swedish sort of elements to this as well. I also heard a bit of early Cathedral, like Forest or the EP before that sort of style in, I think it was the title track maybe. It does still have some, mournful, slow sort of stuff. I think it's Indignation and, what was the other one? Overwhelming Subjugation. But it's not nice. It's nasty. Lots of, I really love his vocals as well. I mean, I'm sure there's 8 tons of reverb on it, but lots of yaw. That seems to be his fun. I like vocalists to do the e and a few other style, but his one's yaw. So yeah, but everything on this just sounds loud, in your face, but perfectly balanced as well. Thumping drums, which is always suckers me in, but they just sound so bloody good on this. I love the eerie sort of emotional kind of solos as well. So yeah, sorry, I should show you a bit about it. Not giant amount on the back. I got to say, I'm not a giant fan of that cover art. I mean, it's nicely done, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if it really suits him, but maybe it does. Again, I can't say I've read the lyrics, so you do get lyrics. Probably should read them. Look, depressing, despondence, soul crushed. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, I love this. This is awesome stuff. Just what I need. I really wish these guys would tour Australia again. They played Canberra like, oh God, how long ago was that? Probably 10 or 15 years ago, and that was friggin' killer. Did see him at MDF one year as well, back in the 7-inch days, the Dark Worship, I think it was called, and yeah, they rolled. So yeah, this album, yeah. Again, if you like Death Doom or really heavy stuff, also get this and Evoken, straight from Profound Law. Alright, the next batch are from Repressed Records, including a couple that I picked up and showed on the Blood Incantation and Secret Chiefs 3 videos. So this one I've listened to a bit more. This is Whitehorse split with Uboa. This came out on Sweat Long, as well as also Tartarus Records, I think. So yeah, this is two Melbourne bands. Whitehorse is the first one that I'm very familiar with. You know, ridiculous. Yeah, well, I don't know if I'd call them funeral doom, but extreme doom's probably the best way to put it for them. Yeah, 2 songs on this. Yeah, not short, let's put it that way. They're, I don't know, like 7, 8, 9 minutes sort of thing. So probably short for Whitehorse, but so yeah, really nice noisy start with Pete just doing his high screams, and then yeah, it kicks in with some very chunky riffing and yeah, his epic growling. They do the kick in well, the old Whitehorse, I'll give them that. It's a really nice sort of ominous sort of just drums sort of break, wondering what's going to kick back in. So and so there's, but yeah, some sinister bass and then some vocals. So the second song, The Weight, I think it sort of devolves into noise by the end of it and feedback. So yeah, scary, nasty stuff. It's nightmare doom. That's probably the best way to put it for Whitehorse. Uboa, who, as I said in my previous one, I wasn't very familiar with at all and still aren't really, other than these 5 songs. Yeah, there's sort of noisy industrial is probably the best way to put it. It's probably not the best way of putting it. It's like saying something's metal. It's, you know, not the greatest descriptor, but there'll be a link below, so check them out. There are some beats on this, but not all of the songs, I don't think. Pete from Whitehorse is doing, you know, he's screaming his head off on the second song. I think it was the third song, Dreamwalker, Fuck I Miss You, is starts with like this ambient piano and morose vocals and builds quite well, that's for sure, up to sort of screaming and really heavy percussion. And then the last song, The Apocalypse of True Love, sort of like a synthwavey kind of song like Perturbator or something. So you get quite a variety of stuff on this one. So yeah, very happy to have this one. So yeah, if you like horrible, scary nightmare doom and slightly odd, noisy industrial stuff, yeah, Whitehorse and Uboa. Alright, I got these next couple mail order from Repressed because it's a bit of a drive for me, unfortunately. But yeah, next up, Vile Apparition with their Malignity album. This came out on Masako on Oho, quality British label. And yeah, this is Australian, kind of like semi-brutal death metal. Like, it's brutal, but it's not all the way brutal death metal, but it's death metal, that's for bloody sure. Plenty of pedigree in this band. There's members of like Gutless and Suicide and Contaminated in it. And I was familiar with their previous album, and I saw them live a year ago, I suppose. And yeah, so I thought I'll have to check this out digitally, and I'm very glad I did because this blew me away. Instant buy on the spot. I got about halfway through and went, yeah, I need this one, definitely, that's for sure. So yeah, check the link out below. Yeah, for me, this is just the right level of brutal death, plus a bit of tech death. I mean, not ridiculous over the top tech death, but yeah, it's not just like caveman stuff, that's for sure. And plus just straight death metal as well. So it's just a great combination of the 3. It's really quite a step up from the debut. I mean, that was pretty bloody killer, but yeah, this is better, that's for sure. I really love the switch. Like, most of it's pretty damn brutal. I think it's White Room Torture has a switch from the brutal side of it to just this really classy solo that, yeah, and slows it down and ends the sort of track that way, and it's really well done. But yeah, overall, just super energetic feel, really helped by the pounding sort of drums, which, yeah, as you well know, I'm a sucker for pounding drums, and yeah, it works here, that's for sure. Nice sort of pingy bass. They got that sort of, you know, not quite Cryptopsy style bass, but not far off it on, I think it's Broken Minds, the fifth song, which is actually one of the few songs that actually slows slightly. There is a brief respite from the brutality with Pulverized Dreams, which is like a nice sort of acoustic interlude or instrumental, that's the word, which still manages to be frantic. And I think that's the key word for this album. It's frantic. It's just puts the boot in, something fierce, just kick you in the throat and keep going and going and going. So, yeah, if that sounds pretty reasonable, just nasty, semi-brutal death metal, let's call it that. Yeah, definitely check these guys out. It's possibly another one that might have crept into the top 20, even though I've only had it for like a month. But yeah, this friggin' rules. All right, this next one I also got from Repressed Records. I decided not to show the proper cover because, it's. I think they're going for the ancient buried remains kind of picture, because all the ones on the back are just like very desiccated, obviously mummified remains or something. But the one on the front is just like a head that's sort of half decayed. But yeah, YouTube didn't really like my goregrind video, so I'm going to put an alternate version up. I do own it, see? But here's an alternative one with my stepdaughter's dog Koji on it, who's much, much cuter than the horrible decaying head. So yeah, enjoy some Koji action. So yeah, this is Bone Fetish. This is a Canadian one-man band. This is like Wes Massow or whatever from Gore and Deprive the Deceased. This is his kind of death grind / gore grindy sort of project. So yeah, you get 3 demos on this plus about 5 extra tracks. So I'd not heard of them before at all. I think it was Anthony from Metal Miners that played this or showed the cover, and it's got my attention because it's a striking cover, you could say. He might have played it in the background because he plays his music at a reasonably loud volume, which sometimes takes away from what he's saying, but it's better than a lot of other people that have music on in the background that I just can't hear for shit. Maybe it's my hearing is awful, but half the time I think it's microphones like editing or, removing noise in the background. So his one works well. So thanks, Anthony, if you were the one who played Bone Fetish. So yeah, as I said, killer death grind, gore grindy sort of stuff. The 3 demos, like first one's Buried from 2021. That one actually reminds me of, sounds like Rotten Sound meets Mortician, which is a pretty damn good combination. So pretty full on Rotten Sound, Murderwork sort of era, which is my preferred era. I mean, not that any of their stuff sounds that different, really. Plus, with some Mortician chunks coming in here and there. So, the second, it kind of gets gorier as they go on. The second demo sounds a bit more like Hemorrhage. The second demo is Convergence. It's like 4 songs. Sounds a bit more like Hemorrhage with the sort of splattery vocals. And then by Mummified, the most recent one, which was from 2024, it's, a lot gorier and horrible sounding. Bit of shifter action going on there. I really love the gore, and I think it's Revived, which is one of the extra tracks. It's just some ghastly sort of vocals. Sounds killer. So overall, very full-on sort of stuff. It's, only one song's over 2 minutes, so lots of blasting, lots of chunky sort of bits. Yeah, you know what it's going to sound like. It's a one-man band, so I don't know if he's a drummer as well, but the drums don't sound programmed, so if they are, good work, mate. So, yeah, I would buy a whole album of this for sure. I mean, this is, it's like half an hour or something or other. It's, 17 songs, so not too bad. So, yeah, I hope you liked the cuteness that is Koji. I think we're dog-sitting him for a while in a week or two, so very much looking forward to that. Maybe I'll try and get him in a video. He's a cute pooch. All right, and the other thing that I picked up in Sydney that I showed on the Blood Incantation review was this one. This is Sadness with Ums de Marble, something or other. This is a Swiss band. This is odd music, this, for sure. Gothic Doom is how it's described, and it's actually a really good description because it is kind of sits in both camps, really. Reminds me a bit of like the Finnish band DeLorean, and also definitely like Tiamat, old Swedish band. Just this weird dreaminess to it. Highlight track for me is Tears of Sorrow. It's kind got these weird, like, almost like those androgynous vocals that are on the first Unholy album. But yeah, it's got a killer kick in. It just builds up really nicely. Only thing I'll complain about is the kind of kick in tough riff that they have. It doesn't go long enough, and then it's got this weird sort of, I don't know, wishy-washy bit, and then it kicks back in. But yeah, I don't know. They could have used it a bit more, I think. So yeah, the reason I think I described these guys as a split between, you know, fellow Swiss bands, Celtic Frost and Samael. And the Celtic Frost bit I'd say is because of, what's it called? Opal Vault, I think it says. He does the mesmerised vocals, let's put it that way. The song Mesmerised from Into the Pandemonium by Celtic Frost, he's got this sort of warbly, whiny kind of style. It takes a bit to get used to, I got to say. And I think they use that on this one, so that's probably why the Frost comparison. Trieste's a really nice sort of kind of mellow but quite haunting instrumental. They do have some female vocals on here. I think it's Red Script as a quirky, slightly odd sort of song that works really well with the female vocals. And the last song, what is it? Antophagia or something or other. It's very much like The Cure. That's their other obvious influence. Yeah, really prominent sort of bass. You know what I mean when you have a listen to it. This does also come with two of their demos as well. You get the Y demo, which was their first demo, which, yeah, it's from 91. I mean, this album itself's from 94, I think, somewhere around there. 95 maybe. Yeah, the first demo, yeah, it's a lot gruffer, that's for sure. And also, they do actually apologise somewhere in the liner notes. Despite our best efforts were made in providing the better audio sources available, faults of the original recording will be present. We apologise for this. And yeah, there's like obvious like tape, you know, bending or whatever the hell that warped sort of sound is on it, which is unfortunate. But I mean, it's not all the way through it, so it's the usual, you know, start of a tape, obviously. So I'd say they just got the actual demo and went, oh, that's all we got. Yeah, so it's a lot more metal, gruff sort of vocals. I mean, he does use the gruff vocals on the album itself, but yeah, not all that often. More it's a sort of, you know, nice gothy, proper singing sort of voice. But on the demo, yeah, it's kind of a mixture of, I don't know, like death, doom, and maybe very early black metal, like first wave sort of stuff. Very primitive, but there are some brief sort of melodic interlude bits. Oedipus, the other demo, which is like a couple of years later, that sounds quite a bit better, I think. It's getting closer to the album. Vocals are a bit more varied and quite tortured, actually, sounding. It also has a version of Red Script, which is a bit more full-on than the album version, but I think I prefer the album version. And the title track, Oedipus, is just doom as hell, slow and punishing. So, again, thanks to Ben Brain Smasher, who suggested this via his the start sort of intro to his videos. So let me know, Ben, are there any other things on that table that you pan past in your intro that I should be checking out? I mean, there's some obvious ones that I already have, but yeah, let me know. So yeah, very odd gothic doom, which not a bad thing by any means. Alright, next up are a rather large batch that I got from Extremely Rotten Productions, who, in their usual way, threw in a ton of stickers. Castle Umbra, Lord Gore, Extremely Rotten, another Extremely Rotten one, oh, more Castle Umbra, Sequestrum, warning, they are fucking sick, mate, and Blood Freak. So always love them. Plus, of course, several like tiny little bloody Danish flags that always seem to get everywhere, but I love your work. So yeah, I got a batch of records from them. First up is Lord Gore with Dark Lords of the Cyst. This just came out on Extremely Rotten themselves. Love that. quality cover art. So yeah, this is Lord Gore, American death metal-y, gore grindy, something or other-y kind of band from Portland, I think. So this is their demo from 1999. Much like the Autophagus, Orgy, or whatever the first album's called. They got two vocalists on this. So there's Lord Necro von Gore on sort of main vocals. I assume he does the raspy stuff and maybe some of the growled stuff. And then there's Gurge on the super ridiculous gurgles as usual. Man, that dude's got a voice. And it does specifically state in there, yeah, no harmonizers or any effects used on this, and I believe it this time, that's for sure. Gurge has got a distinct voice, that's for sure. So it works really well, actually. Like, it's great sort of dynamic, especially when they're both singing at the same time. It just sounds evil. It's bloody awesome. Back then they had Ryan from Engorged as well, so there's a bit of obvious influence there in the guitaring and so on. And this is kind of like a really good period of Portland death metal-y sort of stuff. I think, they were developing a batch of different bands that had that kind of like that thrashy carcass influenced death metal sort of style. This isn't overly thrashy though, I gotta say, and there's probably a bit more Impetigo sort of style in this. And I mean, I think it's Crash Course in Psychopathology, that's it. Yeah, it's got a riff that sounds quite a lot like the I Work for the Street Cleaner riff, but anyway. And unsurprisingly, they definitely like Impetigo, because they cover Breakfast at the Manchester Morgue as well, which sounds bloody cool. They kind of slowly slow it, and it just sounds sinister as hell, especially with the dual track vocals on it. So yeah, this is just killer splattery sort of death metal. Well, I mean, they do mention that they were sort of a gore grindy kind of band, but yeah, it just sounds like death metal to me. But some damn nice chunky sort of bits as well. You do get a cool little various live pictures. Looks like they were fun gigs, the old Lord Gore gigs, I'd say. I never did get a chance to see them, unfortunately. There's a bit of a write-up from Gurge there as well, which is pretty cool. There's the original demo, which is the same cover art. So, very, very happy to get this, because from the look of it, there's only like 69 copies of the tape or something, so I don't like my chances of ever tracking that down. Plus, I did notice, I'd never seen it before. I've got the 3 albums, sorry, now that they've got a third one. But yeah, I noticed written somewhere was the Massive Deconstruction Surgery EP that has exactly the same track listing as this. It was released like a year later, so I'm assuming it's the same thing. So, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you know, but yeah, this pretty bloody tasty. Damn good start, that's for sure. Alright, another brand spanking release from Extremely Rotten Productions is Nefasto with Deformed Deviation. So this is a brand new 7-inch from this quite newish death metal band. I think it's Erica from Skolex and Chthonic Deity and Acephalix and a batch of other bands on guitar and vocals, and Luana from Crypta and Nervosa and Chaos Rising on drums. So I don't know if this is just a muck around project or a proper band, because I'm pretty sure Erica lives in America and Luana, I assume, lives in Brazil, because that's where Crypta are from. At any rate, this is nice sounding, rusty, normal sort of death metal. I really like the throaty, growled vocals, and yeah, overall sounds bloody good. I mean, it's kind of hard to judge because the second song, like, is a Demigod cover, so which they do quite faithfully, and yeah, those bloody, that melodic line shines through so beautifully on that. So there's only really one original track on here, which sounds pretty bloody great to me, so yeah, I look forward to hearing more of this. This is produced by Arthur Risk, who, yeah, he gets around, that chap, that's for sure. He's a guy from Eternal Champion, and I don't know, does a ton of stuff, including, I think, that Innumerable Forms that I showed before. So yeah, the sound on this is bloody excellent. Really nice cover art as well, so yeah, happy to chuck this one in on the order. Another CD I just chucked in from Extremely Rotten was this Leprophiliac split with Spastic Amoebas. This came out on Backwards Butcher Records, so yeah, another brand spanker. So I like Leprophiliac. It's Dopey from Machetezo and various other bands, doing sort of vaguely simplistic death metal, you could say, and I don't mean that in a bad way by any means. They always remind me of Death Leprosy, which is a bloody good thing, because yeah, that's what suckered me into death metal. So yeah, I've got a batch of Leprophiliac stuff. I actually prefer this to Geen. The last full-length album, I don't know, something didn't quite click for me on that one. Like, the other EPs and stuff are all pretty bloody good. This is really good. I think it's you only get 4 songs, and Matango, the last one's just got a killer groove on it. Love it. The other band is Spastic Amoebas, who I think I have on like a 3-way split 12-inch somewhere or other, maybe a Wadge one, I think. And yeah, so I don't really have a giant amount of their stuff. They're sort of very scuzzy punk, grind, fast corey sort of stuff. It varies quite a bit. Not usually the stuff I tend to listen to, but I'm really quite loving this actually. It's pretty cool. It's like two blokes from Brody's Militia and Stumblefuck from like Rupture and various other Aussie bands. Song titles, yeah, they got some interesting ones. It doesn't get much better than, where is it? Squirt Me With Your Shit Ray. I gotta check. I can't remember if there are lyrics to these things or not. Let's have a quick squeeze. Cool booklet, and it's got great art in it. Oh, it does have lyrics to that. Let me just quickly read them and see if they're, yeah, it's not that bad. Anyway, not that interesting, unfortunately, but classy song title, so, and yeah, cool graphics. So yeah, I don't know, it's weird. It's very varied. I really like, what is it? Absolute Mental Sodomy. That was like a nice speedy one. I like the kind of faster ones on here. Some of them have these like snotty vocals that just shit me really, but overall he sounds great. But occasionally there'll be these, I wouldn't say pop punk, but just whiny shit that I don't like. Yeah, as I said, the fastcore bit's my favourite, but overall it's kind of growing on me. At first it was just like, oh, Jesus. But it didn't take long to sucker me in, so yeah, very interesting split. Two totally different bands, but good to have. And the main reason that I did a Extremely Rotten Productions order was to grab this. This is Umbra with their Namu Tamtu album. Yeah, this is a Mexican band. This is like Antimo from Disgorge, and him as well as Caesar is also in what is it, Reverenced Paroxysm and Hackovitz and various other Demon Eyes, I think was the other band that all of them are in, so I get around those boys. But yeah, this is death metal, like pretty damn full on death metal. This isn't quite as deep and heavy sounding as Reverenced Paroxysm, which is just, yeah, stupid, super heavy. This is still friggin' heavy, but yeah, I don't know why I didn't really get this earlier, actually, to tell the truth, or pay more attention to them. I did discover I have MP3s of their demo on my computer, and it's bloody Antimo singing. Why the hell didn't I listen to it? It sounds bloody killer, the demo. So, yeah, this is very old, sort of old-sounding death metal. It's quite a Scandinavian feel to it as well, which is, of course, right up my alley. Lots of detuned, just a lot of tremolo action on this, actually. It's pretty fast in parts, but also rumbling along nicely. I'll show you, it's just on black vinyl, nothing exciting. This actually came out in 2023, I think, but maybe just on CD. So, but it was reissued by Extremely Rotten and P2 as well. So, yeah, all of Paulo from P2, all his plugging of this on various social media finally got my attention, and I was like, oh yeah, this sounds bloody good. I need to buy this. So, yeah, very glad I got this. I really love, I think it's Namu, the steamroller groove on that's just killer stuff. And steamroller is probably a good word to describe this sort of band. Like Antimo's doing very deep vocals. No, he still doesn't do quite enough weird insecty vocals, and I'd highly recommend, I'll put a link to it below. Andrew Lee just did an interview with him in Japan, I think, at that Asakusa Death Fest thing. And yeah, it's a great little interview. Antimo is a funny chap. He looks like he enjoys himself. But yeah, he talks about his vocal style on that, especially for Disgorge. And definitely watch that one. It's a great video, really interesting. So yeah, this friggin' killer. I would have loved to have seen these guys live. And because of this, I finally got around to checking out Hackovitz as well, which is his sort of black metal-y kind of band. That sounds pretty bloody killer as well, so I might have to try and track some of that down. And Demonized and, yeah, many other bands. But, yeah, just rumbly, quite, I wouldn't say epic or, yeah, I hate to use the word cavernous, but it's probably vaguely fitting. And lovely killer cover art. I think I looked at this from afar and thought, oh, yeah, looks interesting, but looks bloody nice up close. Yeah. Umbra, excellent bloody Mexican death metal. And final one of today is, this is one I also got from Extremely Rotten Productions, is Mindrot with their 1990 demo. This is like an old, I think they're from LA, like Californian, weird sort of doom crust, almost, you could say. It's a strange style, and it didn't help that I started playing this record on 33 instead of 45, and I was like, yeah, that's heavy. Oh, wait a sec. I always found their combo of styles slightly odd. Like, it's not really what I expected, and this also isn't. I kind of thought it'd be a bit more full-on. It starts all right. It's got like a, very old bolt roll sort of style riff at the start, but changes to this awkward thrashy kind of riff, and I don't know, it's very pensive sounding, like they don't really know where to go. I think it's darkened existence. It's just like growling over this mellow guitar. It just sounds odd. I mean, this is their first demo, so it's probably fair enough. It's, they certainly got a lot better, and honestly with these guys I'm really not that familiar with their demo era or anything. I am familiar with their Dawning and Forlorn releases on Relapse from like 95, so by then they're a lot better and a hell of a lot nicer sounding, you could say. At least this does sound sort of crusty and nasty in parts, but I don't really know their other EPs, although I did listen to, I think it's, Faded Dream demo from 92, which sounds quite a bit better than this. I kind of wish I had that on record instead. I mean, this is still pretty good. Thunder is pretty decent death metal. It's got this ridiculous song, Demoniac Death Metalers from the Satanic Realm, which is just lyrics of scary, and yeah, it's like just a silly short throwaway kind of song, but yeah, I mean, Blink of an Eye's got like this kind of hardcore-y riffing that just really doesn't gel particularly well with the death metal side of it, so yeah, it's not bad. I'll keep listening to it, but yeah, it wasn't quite as good as it was. Pretty much a blind buy. Oh yeah, I like those albums, so why not? I'll give it a go. I don't actually have their second album, or I was one of these is just an EP, but I don't have Soul, so I might have to track that one down. So yeah, it was one of those bands that sounded really good on paper, but didn't quite work out properly in real life, I don't think. I mean, the guy's got a great voice, but especially, I hadn't listened to these for bloody ages as well, so I chucked them on, and yeah, it doesn't always work, let's put it that way. So he's got a really good growl, but some of the whinier kind of gothy almost sort of bits, yeah, didn't quite translate too well these days. So anyway, happy to have it. So that's your Bloomin' Lot for the month. Not sure what my next video will be. I'm still sort of trying to sort through, work out my top 20 albums of the year. It's mostly sorted. I mean, as per usual, the rankings are a bit arbitrary, really, except for maybe the top 5. But yeah, it's been a good year, let's put it that way. So yeah, because I'll be on holidays for 3 weeks, who knows? Maybe I'll get more than one video a week out. I won't guarantee it. I'll probably just sit in the air conditioning watching sci-fi the whole time, but hell, who knows? So anyway, thanks for watching. Links to everything are below, so definitely check them out, and yeah, cheers. See ya.